The Comeng trains are Melbourne's oldest suburban trains still in revenue service. However, they have a long history and rather complex history, so in today's video, I explain the refurbishments and events that have happened with Melbourne's Comeng trains over their 44-year lifespan. Enjoy! In 1979, the operator of Melbourne's suburban and regional rail network, VicRail, placed an initial order for 100 new free-carriage train sets. These new trains, known as the Comeng trains, were built by Commonwealth Engineering. However, the order was extended to 190, and these new trains were intended to replace the last of the Tay trains and the majority of the Harris trains. On September 28, 1981, the first Comeng train set, consisting of carriages 301M, 10001T, 302M, rolled out of the Dandenong factory. Until 1983, all Comeng train sets being produced were in this VicRail orange livery. However, in 1983, VicRail was done for and no longer existed, so newer Comeng trains from 1983 were painted in the Met green and yellow livery. Until 2003, the Comeng trains had this interior with brown tartan seats. The design of the Comeng trains also inspired the design of Adelaide Metro's 3000 class diesel rail cars, which also have a similar interior to the current interior of the Comeng trains. Despite the electrification of some of Adelaide's railway lines and the retirement of some 3000 class diesel rail cars, the 3000 class is still the main workhorse of Adelaide Metro. Anyways, now back to the Melbourne Comeng. From 2000 to 2004, Melbourne's rail network was operated by two different operators, those being M-Train and Connex. At this time, until 2003, the Comeng trains were gradually being refurbished train by train. The refurbishment included brand new seat covers with a Spartan blue design, as well as new handholds. The refurbishment also included new features on the Comeng trains, such as surveillance cameras, as well as on-board PIDs. However, prior to this refurbishment, somewhere in the 1990s, Comeng carriages 671M and 672M were used as prototype refurbished carriages. However, these prototype refurbishments were never implemented on the rest of the Comeng fleet, and so these carriages were stored at Newport workshops for many years, and somewhere in the late 2010s were scrapped. Prior to 2014, Melbourne's Comeng trains had rather dodgy doors that you could easily force open, as they had doorknob-style handles that passengers used to open the doors. However, this made it relatively easy for unruly passengers to force the doors open, including while the train was in motion. After an incident at Water Garden Station where teenagers forced the door open on a moving Comeng train, and one jumped out injuring himself, the Comeng trains were fitted with new door handles, ones that were more slim. From 2017 to 2021, the entire of the existing Comeng train fleet undertook a $75 million life extension refurbishment program. The Comeng trains received a new yellow fiberglass front with blue stripes on the bottom of the windshield. There were also internal modifications such as hanging straps added on some handholds, as well as new PTV blue shards seat covers, as well as upgraded lighting. However, 2017 was also the beginning of the end of the Comeng trains, with the retirement of the four unique Comeng trains that had chopper traction equipment. The chopper Comeng sets were known to be very unreliable, and so were scrapped at Newport workshops in 2021. And so from 2021 to this year, the rest of the Comeng trains will be replaced by the high-capacity metro trains, as well as the upcoming brand new Extrapolis 2.0 trains. There are only 111 Comeng train sets still in service. In 2025, two Comeng train sets were reconfigured from being free carriage to two carriage trains, and those carriages were 633M, 634M, 585M, 586M. These carriages have been converted for use of hauling EV120, which is an evaluation vehicle operated by Metro. However, the intermediate carriages from both of these Comeng sets were scrapped and are not hauling EV120. This shows how the Comeng trains, despite still being in service, have been made mostly redundant in recent years. So what's going to happen with the rest of the Comeng Fleet in Melbourne in years to come? Well, the Extrapolis 2.0 trains, which are Melbourne's newest trains, will enter service later this year, and so the remaining 111 Comeng trains that are still in service will be progressively retired and scrapped. This really shows how we're fast approaching the final days of service for Melbourne's Comeng trains, as they've been in service for the past nearly 45 years now. Thank you guys very much for watching this video, hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment and subscribe, it really means a lot to me.